Today is Saturday, March 21st, 2026. The time is 6:16 p.m. And I titled this, Trump did what to a minor? But before we get into that, I want to play a little tune for you.
As a motherfuckers, I need to be drafted first. Like a motherfuckers, they need to be drafted first in the motherfucking war, in the bullshit war, in that Epstein war, in Dookie Donnie's war. MAGA motherfuckers, they need to be drafted first. My motherfuckers, they need to be drafted first in the motherfucking war, in the bullshit war, in Dookie Donnie's war, in that Epstein war. MAGA motherfuckers, they need to be drafted first. MAGA motherfuckers.
I just like that song. I like that song by Eric Benet because it's so fitting. Like, they have all this stuff to say. MAGA followers got all this stuff to say. And they love the country so much. And they love what he's doing so much. To the fact that they need to be, I'm not even going to say drafted first. They need to be drafted only. Yeah, MAGA motherfuckers need to be drafted only. Because this is what y'all signed up for, right? Like, I seen a video where they had an old white dude and he was like, he don't care about paying. See, this is the stupidity of raccooning and racism. Because the old white boy was like, he don't care nothing about paying high gas prices as long as they can win the war. So when you got people like that that's dedicated, yeah, put his old ass out there. Age shouldn't matter when you are a MAGA lover like this. But what I want to break down is this was on the 18th, and this is House Representative Dan Goldman of New York. House Representative Dan Goldman of New York, and I just want to play what he say. So, without any further ado,
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to discuss this administration's massive cover-up of the Epstein files in order to conceal President Trump's involvement. This cover-up reached its apex last month when Attorney General Pam Bondi falsely testified under oath before the House Judiciary Committee. The Attorney General testified, quote, "There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that," unquote. This is a lie.
Now he's talking about Pam Bondi saying that there's no evidence that Tangerine Toucher, aka Dookie Donnie, aka Donald Trump, committed a crime, but they know that that's false, and here's why.
Million or so documents that the DOJ has disclosed to Congress under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, there is credible evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. And that, of course, excludes the nearly 3 million pages that the DOJ is refusing to turn over. Donald Trump is mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. There are multiple allegations that he sexually assaulted young girls. But I want to focus on one victim's allegations that the FBI unquestionably found to be credible. The DOJ tried to hide reports of 3 of the 4 interviews that this victim gave to the FBI, but pressure from the media and Congress forced them to disclose them. And now we know why. She credibly accuses Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was between 13 and 15.
13 and 15.
In each of her interviews, this victim recited the same account of her interaction with Donald Trump. On August 7th, 2019, she explained that she was between 13 and 15 when she was left alone with Donald Trump, who, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be." Trump unzipped his pants and put her head down, quote, down to his penis.
Hold on now. Hold on now. They said Daddy Donnie did what? Let me rewind it back.
Out of it. Trump struck something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be." Trump unzipped his pants and put her head down, quote, down to his penis. Bit the S out of it. Trump struck the victim and said words to the effect of, "Get this little B the hell out of here." The victim advised that she bit Trump's penis because he disgusted her. She provided some additional details in the next interview 2 weeks later, and then a month later, she met again with the FBI and asked, quote, what the point would be of providing the information at this point in her life when there was a strong possibility nothing could be done about it. She didn't speak to the FBI again. But the FBI...
And a lot of times when apologists and just bootlickers of any race or any stature will say, "Oh, why now? Why all of a sudden now?" Because a lot of times it's going to be a massive cover up. Depending on how large the person is, nobody's going to believe them. It's going to be an up and down. So it sometimes makes sense as to why victims don't want to come out.
Found her story credible. In a 21-page PowerPoint presentation that the FBI made to prosecutors, they included this victim's testimony. They would not have done so if they did not find the evidence credible, which means that Attorney General Bondi lied when she stated under oath that there is no evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. But we're just scratching the surface, because the Epstein files also reveal that Donald Trump has made false statements over the past quarter century about Jeffrey Epstein. We know in 2002 he called him a terrific guy and said, quote, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." In a birthday card, 2003, that Donald Trump gave to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday, Donald wrote for himself that we have certain things in common.
And this is Representative Dan Goldman of New York. This is Representative Dan Goldman of New York speaking.
Jeffrey, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. But in that same year, Palm Beach County opened an investigation into Epstein that eventually was turned over to the FBI. The investigation became public in 2006, and the Palm Beach County police chief received a call quickly after from Donald Trump, where Trump told him, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." What innocent person calls the police chief about an investigation upon just learning about it? The recent documents also show that Jeffrey Epstein emailed Ghislaine Maxwell and said, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." Trump also denied that he ever went on Epstein's plane. But of course, the Southern District of New York said that he was on his plane 8 times, often with young women. The reason why this matters is because we don't have half of the Epstein files. And if the Attorney General is covering this up in such a degree that she is redacting things from Congress, that she then redacting things from the public that she then shows to Congress, what else is she covering up?
And see, that's the thing right there. Because 1 minute they'll tell you something and then they don't. So what this essentially means is that Pam Bundy lied under oath. But we are supposed to take whatever they're saying, and only MAGA believes everything that's being said. And another point, another thing that I want to point out is as hardy, as braggadocious, as self-centered as Donald Trump is, as self-centered as Donald Trump is, do you think that if he was the hero in these files, that if his name is mentioned as many times as his name is mentioned in those files, do you think that if his name was mentioned in a positive light, he wouldn't want that out there? Think about it, because he tells you he's the most cognitively strong president ever. Everything he does is right. He always wants to make himself the center of everything. So if his name is in those files thousands of times, if they're in a positive way, why would he redact that? Why would he want his name redacted? Why would he want people just to move on if he's the hero in this story? The math don't math. But let's continue. And this is representative of New York Dan Goldman speaking about the unredacted Epstein files that they have.
And I would just show that this document here was redacted to the public. It was unredacted to Congress, and it completely disputes everything that Donald Trump has said about Jeffrey Epstein, about what he knew about the allegations, about his disgusting behavior, about whether he'd ever been to Jeffrey Epstein's house, saying, I may have been there with my wife. Asked if any young girls were there. No. He may have had children of guests, but that's it. Well, we know that's not the case. Now, why is this important? Because if the Attorney General is covering up this information that she then reveals to Congress, what else is she covering up about Donald Trump's involvement in the Epstein files?
What else is she covering up? What else are these people hiding? I mean, MAGA want to play this whole game of, he's the one that called the police. Because here's the thing that the brainless MAGA wants you to think. They want you to think that he's around a bunch of racists. He's around a bunch of pedos. He's around a bunch of essayers, but he's not like that. Now, mind you, he put Lawrence Taylor in the fitness group with, I think it's Triple H and some other people. Lawrence Taylor is a registered sex offender. So if he doesn't have any ties to sex offenders, why would he put someone like Lawrence Taylor that possibly will have access to children? The math don't math. And they said in the beginning that he took this young girl's head and put it toward his penis, and she bit it. And he struck her. But MAGA wants you to believe that he's the most noble guy. Why isn't this being talked about? It's because it's being covered up. See, I'm against it all. I'm against it whether it's Jeffrey Epstein, whether it's Dirty Donald, whether it's Corey Holcomb, whether it's R. Kelly. It doesn't matter. An essayer is an essayer. A pedo is a pedo. I don't draw lines based on who I like. Because apologists always want to get on the side of the adult, but they don't understand the trauma that it does to the children. Now that was Representative Dan Goldman out of New York. You can go find that. That's Representative Dan Goldman out of New York. And what y'all got to say about that, Mac? Hit the comments and let me know. Peace.